where the last brain cells go to die. It's just the worst of the worst, arguing with each other all the time on Twitter. It's absolutely AIDS. But anyway, let's check out this video from Rev Says Desu, artist targeted by unhinged VTubers over problematic posts. Okay, a bit of problematic postage. Let's have a look.
Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we're going to cover some big...
Dude, I've watched one of his videos before. It still catches me. The anime VTuber girl with the voice, it's just, it doesn't match up in my head, man. It's not working.
VTuber and art related drama. But first, it is the end of the month, and that means my advanced GG code is now boosted until August 4th. Use code REV30 to get 30% off your advanced GG order. Consider using it on my official flavor jar, Rocket Pop flavor, that has recently returned, to save a good chunk of money on that. All the information for this will be in the pinned comment. So we're going to talk about Kevin today. Kevin is an artist who is a lightning rod for forced controversy and virtue signaling from Twitter.
Dude, that bio, live 2D Papa, I do bouncy rigs, new VTuber acid art, and rig weekly. Okay.
Users. He is someone we have talked about multiple times on this channel. We're going to do it once again today. So Kevin is an artist who makes...
I agree, Cheese. I do agree. I do agree. That's why you won't see me doing it all the time. Sometimes I just like to react to just stuff that's going on in gaming. Then now and again a title will just like be like, okay, I'm interested. This title's piqued my interest.
VTuber assets and also rigs VTuber models, including for some people who are very popular.
Dude, I don't want to call out VTuber artists now. Not so much VTubers. I don't want to, but I suppose I'm going to. Why is there so many people who create this sort of art that just end up being a little bit weird? Is it just me? You know? Like, these people are talented, but there seems to be quite a lot of them that are just really weird, man, you know?
Popular, like Mint Maid, Matara-Khan, and even Iron Mouse.
And obviously not everybody, of course. I bet there is some sound of mind people out there. I just see there seems to be a lot of weirdos in the space.
And recently, Kevin made this post, which would spark a ton of drama. So it's captioned, "Do you like chubby fit Mitsuri?" And you can see his character right here, obviously inspired from Demon Slayer. But there'd be a lot of controversy surrounding this use of the phrase chubby fit and what that means. And
is this going to be people really getting mad that the dude called her chubby? Please tell me this is what it's going to be, because this is cinema. This is cinema. Let me move my camera so you guys can see that a second there. The fact that somebody has to like follow up with this response. Guys, he's not saying she's chubby. He's saying she's chubby fit. Chubby fit is very common in skinny girls who have a little bit of tummy and thick thighs. Why do people feel like that they've got to like, oh my god, man, people are way too sensitive nowadays about that sort of stuff.
Kevin would clarify, saying this is what he really meant by the use of that phrase. Basically, it's a skinny girl who has a little bit of a tummy or thicker thighs. However, you can see that there's nearly 4,000 quotes, most of them negative, on this post. What is going on here? Well, this isn't just about criticism of that use of the phrase chubby fit. This goes way beyond into dog...
Are you not allowed to say chubby bunny anymore? Is it an insult to the bunnies? It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. They're chubby fit, bro. Come on. Hey, listen. You're fat shaming them now.
Piling and virtue signaling about this post and the artist who made it. And here's a good example of how disingenuous and hypocritical a lot of this outrage is. You have this VTuber saying, "I probably got blocked for politely asking him not to advertise sexual VTuber assets using an underage character to model for it. You know, so people don't accidentally promote / like sexualizing underage characters." And of course, Curry Renji here with the great screenshots. "Your likes may be private, but screenshots are forever." And as he points out on this VTuber's other account, they do furry art, and they also have underage characters being sexualized in the likes of that account too, making them a giant hypocrite. But here is the top replies to Kevin's post. You can see this is not curated, this is just the top group.
I wouldn't consider her chubby, to be honest. Fit would fit more. Well, looking at the character design, I wouldn't necessarily use the word fit unless you're using it as in the description of, like, in the UK, when a girl's attractive, people like to go, man, she's fit. They don't necessarily mean she's incredibly athletic and has lots of stamina and will be able to run a marathon. I mean, man, she's attractive, you know? She's peng, she's fit. Which I wouldn't really use that terminology because when you say somebody looks fit, I would say they'd probably look very lean, potentially abs showing, you know? And I know that doesn't necessarily mean that because your abs are showing you're more fit than somebody who might carry a little bit of visceral body fat. Of course, that's not how human anatomy works. Fitness, you can carry a little bit of weight and be a lot fitter than somebody who's a lot slimmer. Of course you can. But visually, you'd typically look at somebody who is lean and be like, well, they're probably fit. Probably not as well nowadays, but, you know, there's a good chance that they're more likely to be fit than somebody who's overweight, of course. This body is not chubby. It's normal and healthy body. Labeling as such perpetrates harmful stereotypes and unrealistic beauty standards. Posts like this is the reason so many people have body issues. Dude, like, if you're getting wrapped up in your own body issues from a freaking drawing of a VTuber, you've got issues. Did you see the size of her tits? Like, surely that's going to make freaking women be a little bit more like, damn, I'm never going to have freaking tatters like that. You know? The idea that, like, oh my God, it's just wild. That it was a healthy looking body, I guess, but it was a fucking drawing for one. But to call somebody chubby is not like a derogatory term in my eyes. I guess it's supposed how you look at it. But carrying a little bit of extra fat is definitely not what I would call fit. And I don't see, you know, this chubby fit look is kind of a derogatory description of a character. You know, it's like saying she's thick. People don't like see a problem with that. It's describing the same thing, really. It's just that people like the word thick because it's seen as a positive sexual terminology. Do you know what I mean? Girls love to be called thick. You know, oh man, look, dude, look how thick she is. But the second a dude says, man, she's carrying a little bit of meat on her, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't say that. I think it needs more chub. That this is still so skinny. People on Twitter calling this chubby is the reason why I have body image issues as a size S, small, extra small. That's, if you're getting body image issues off anime drawings, then I think you've got deeper issues, in my opinion. Honestly, I really do. I wouldn't consider this chubby. It's a great design, but would need more to be considered chubby. No, chubby isn't there. No, chubby isn't there, so can't say it is.
Here, all of them having thousands of likes and all attacking.
See what I said about Twitter? It's where the last brain cells go to die. They go to argue with each other and fizzle out. It's just like, what are people arguing with here? What are they arguing about? This is just, oh my God, it's wild.
The same
I love it
thing.
though.
They're all saying this character is not chubby. And one thing you can say is right off the bat, they're arguing over a phrase he didn't use. He used the phrase chubby fit, but every single person here has removed fit from that equation, and now they're arguing about what is actually chubby. And you can see some people have a very subjective view of what makes,
dude, even if you said chubby, like, what the hell?
A character chubby. Some people in the quotes are trying to claim this is chubby.
No, that's not chubby. That's definitely not chubby. That's more than chubby.
But if you look at this comment right here, I want to single this one out for a second. They say, this body is not chubby. It is a normal and healthy body. Labeling it as such perpetuates harmful stereotypes and unrealistic beauty standards. Posts like this are the reason so many people have body issues. Now, I get what they're trying to say here, and I mean this with like...
I think the main reason a lot of people have body issues, a lot of people, the majority, not all, obviously, self-visual issues, you know, with your own identity of how you look is a problem. I get it. Everybody goes through it. We all want to look better in ourselves, you know? And I think even if you look good and you've got a good physique and you look after yourself, you get it from going to the gym. You start hitting the gym to look a little bit better, and then you end up with freaking body dysmorphia because you're like, dude, I ain't as big as this guy, and you look in the mirror all the time and you're like, I look skinny, and you want to be more jacked, and this is why a lot of lads start taking steroids because they want that, it never ends. But I think a lot of people do have body issues because a lot of people, especially in the West, are just out of shape, you know? They're just out of shape. They don't look after themselves. They don't do enough exercise. They eat too much. I do it myself. I'm out of shape at the minute. I've been going back to the gym and I lost a lot of weight again, and I've put a little bit back on, and I can't be like, well, I've got body issues because I'm sick and tired of seeing freaking dudes on Love Island with six packs. It's like, that's not the reason why for me. It's because I know that I've made choices that have allowed me to look a little bit less than, you know, optimal. And I guess, I know, as you get older, that's a thing that's a little bit less in your control. But, you know, and I do think there is a small section of people who, no matter what they do, will have issues regarding outside stimulus, but I think that's more of issues that are going on with them, and they need to work through those to stop letting that sort of thing affect them so much, you know. But I think if you're genuinely getting issues with the way you look off somebody's drawings, I think you need to go touch grass.
No flame. I'm not trying to flame this person, but the second you start comparing your real life body to an anime character, you lost. Like, you're gonna be disappointed. They're not realistic. Of course, they're hyper fit or made in a certain way because
I'm out of shape, but I'm losing weight though. Lost 9 pounds so far. Well done, man. Well done. You're doing the right thing. You know, you're doing the right thing. It's always good to try and lose a little bit of extra weight. You know, I think most people, like I say, in the West, and even if you're not, like I said again, just because somebody looks lean doesn't mean they're fit. I think most people, especially in the West, need to do more activity just for the cardiovascular system, minus all the fats and being overweight issues and your joints, but your cardiovascular system, you know.
They're drawings. You can make them as perfect as you want. So this is a bad standard to work with. But while some users had some, you know, reasonable attempts at an argument here, like, they're not trying to be super disrespectful. If you go to
it's like, bro, I'm sick and tired of, like, Marvel comics, man. Because, like, that's why I've got a bad body image. I'm never going to look like Captain America. Like, what am I supposed to do? Superman looks ripped, bro? This is why I've got a body image issue.
Quotes, you see crazy stuff. You see dozens of posts like this. This user saying, I think we should kill all men at this point. This person saying, game end yourself. This person...
See, isn't it wild? Again, this is Twitter, so it's expected that people think, oh, you can't make people feel bad about using the word chubby, as if it was directed at them anyway, when it wasn't. It was directed at a fake drawing, a made-up drawing. These people are going to the level of, you should go kill yourself. This is Twitter. This is Twitter. Cinema.
Person saying, I'm going to take my life in front of you. This person saying, chubby in quotes, just tell me to game end myself. This person saying, this is why women keep getting diagnosed with eating disorders. So you look at these quotes and there's...
I don't think that's why women keep getting diagnosed with eating disorders. I think that's because teenage girls spend a lot of time on things like Instagram. I would argue, I'm not an expert, but I don't think most teenage girls are looking at anime drawings and going, I need to look like that. They're probably on Instagram seeing the amount of photoshopped images that women are putting out. And that's where they're getting a little bit of body dysmorphia from, because they're like, I need to look like that, knowing full well they're never going to look like that. It's like the photoshopped images of men. It's like men who follow bodybuilders who are on so much gear it could kill an elephant, but, you know, they get body dysmorphia themselves, because it's like, you're never going to look like that dude. He's on serious amounts of tren. You know what I mean? His tren has blood in it. It's not his blood has tren in it, you know? So it's just like, that I think that's such a disingenuous argument. But then again, it's Twitter, so, you know, I'm arguing against a mute point here, really.
Dozens like that, and you're like, wait a second. This isn't just about criticism of the term chubby fit and how it was applied to that character. There's something going on here that's way beyond this. And this whole thing, the amount of reaction that Kevin has gotten for this post, is the result of dogpiling. People want to dogpile on him because it is the flavor of the month. Going after Kevin is something that people see as popular and
it makes them feel part of a tribe as well, doesn't it? You know, that's the new thing nowadays. People don't want to feel part of a group, even though, you know, tribalism in itself it's in human nature, but it's inherently negative from the start of humanity. It's got its positives, but it's inherently negative as well, because look at what's happened through tribalism, through the history. But people love nowadays, especially to be in the tribe that's considered the other, that's considered downtrodden, and people are so desperate to get themselves into those spaces nowadays, aren't they, to seem like they are somehow, you know, badly treated by society, whatever it might be now. And it's got to the point where it's like so silly. People are coming up with all these different things of like, well, this is why I've got this issue, you know, and it's just like, no, I think you've got an issue because you need to get off the fucking internet a little bit more, man, and go out, you know, go touch grass, you know what I mean? Go get some freaking vitamin D, man. Fucking
safe. And they do it for clout and attention. So it's very obvious, and it's reflected in a lot of the responses like this. So this user captured a screenshot of a tweet that's now deleted from another VTuber where they say, I am begging the VTuber community to stop using him, Kevin, for rigging just because of Iron Mouse. I blocked him so long ago for the whistle and now this stuff comes up. And we're gonna hear a lot of conversation about this whistle asset in just a second here. So here's another VTuber saying this. The chubby model drama with Kevin is pretty obvious he's trying to distract with his new Mitsuri model. So everyone...
Dude, how wild is that? I don't know what they're going on about this previous stuff. The idea that somebody's going to distract from a situation that they've got themselves into before by calling a drawing chubby fit. The idea that that's where the social talking point is, that people go, well, you know, he used that term to distract us from this other thing. It's like, what the hell? Dude, man, we are fucked, you know. We're fucked.
Forgets about his previous lolicon models / assets he's done in the past. Like, remember the R-word whistle assets? Why make that in the first place? And then this user says his work is abhorrent. People need to be shamed for stuff like this. So there were...
What? So it was a... Oh, okay. I get it. That's what kind of whistle it was. Okay. That's a little bit weird, though. That is a little bit weird, if I'm honest. But then again, though, I do feel like that people who create this sort of stuff... And I'm not talking about the VTubers that create this sort of stuff for VTubers. A lot of them tend to be a bit weird. I think if you spend all day drawing anime girls in, you know, scenarios... I just feel like there's a good potential and a good crossover that you're going to be a little bit odd.
Referring to an asset that Kevin made a few months ago, this sus buzzer asset. So what's this all about? Well, this came from the music video Lolly God Requiem by Shigure Ui, a very popular and well-liked VTuber. This video that the asset is inspired by has over 100...
Bro, we are going into the rabbit hole today. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
million views on YouTube. But people are not calling out Shigure Ui, who made this video, and this buzzer that inspired the asset, because that would get them backlash. Instead, they attack Kevin for his asset that's inspired by...
Well, that's a thing nowadays. Selective outrage, isn't it? You know, it's just selective outrage. People will let things slide with a lot of people. If they like them, it's okay. If they don't like them, it's not okay. This is why it's a modern thing. Well, it's not a modern thing. Humans have always been like it, but it's so bad nowadays in that people can never see that sometimes people they like can have bad takes and people they dislike can have good takes. They'll never allow it, and it's an extreme version of tribalism. Selective outrage is it's just common, isn't it? You know, it's nothing new.
By this video because it is safe. They think they can say whatever they want about Kevin because they want to join in on the dog pile, and it's very obvious.
Holy shit, I just noticed 105 million views. Damn!
Their standards are very skewed. They will not call out Shigure Ui, the video that has over 100 million views, but they will very happily call out Kevin. Now, continuing on in that conversation, this person says, yeah, hope he stops getting work from VShojo at this point.
I remember when this term, riggers for, you know, people who make rigging, became a real thing that people were getting mad about that term's being used because it sounds like another word, but it's clearly not. But people were like, well, it's racist, but it's like, why? Because you associate that word with that, which is kind of weird in itself. Dude, the internet and man, Twitter, oh my God.
This is disgusting. And then the VTuber responds saying, it would be so embarrassing for @IronMouse tagging her to get any other assets or models from him when they have such better choices in artists and riggers. So here is the issue here. It's not just about fair criticism of the term chubby fit, like I said. Now they're trying to literally hurt his bottom dollar. They're trying to hurt him financially by shaming people like IronMouse so they won't work with him anymore. That is insane. Now, I don't...
This is just a Western thing, though, like I said. This is what people were doing, they were trying to do with Genshin and the whole Natlan situation. And it's just not going to work because they're a Chinese company. It works in the West because people know if they try and shout loud enough, Western companies and Western public figures will just fold, you know, faster than a cheap deck chair because they can't have the mob baying for the blood and they can't have that negative publicity, even if it's just not true or it's totally left field, totally like an extreme viewpoint. If enough people shouted over and over again, they'll just fold, won't they? But this is what I was saying, that when it came down to the whole situation with the Natlan drama situation with Genshin, that if you feel like that, you're better off just playing another game, because at the end of the day, the Chinese companies are going to look after the Chinese base, and the Chinese base are kind of how they are, and it's just not going to change. And I think hoping that maybe boycotting the game, the few thousand people that might, is going to change anything. It's just not. It's just not.
I don't know Iron Mouse, but from the way she has publicly carried herself over the years, I think she would be very, very offended by what you're trying to do here. You are trying to shame her into basically bending to your will because you have an issue with some of the assets, the fictional assets that Kevin has made. And again, you are within your right to not like those things and to be disgusted by whatever it is, whether it's like the fact that he uses the Marin Kitagawa model for some of his assets or the assets themselves. It's fine not to like those things, but just block and move on. But instead of blocking and moving on, you try to attack, shame, and financially hurt him, which is ridiculous. It goes too far.
Did this person have this viewpoint prior to the chubby fit comment though? I'm going to hazard a guess that probably not, you know? And I'm probably certain of the reason why, but I'm not going to say it. So, you know, let's carry on.
But this whole thing of blocking and moving on, even the people who are either being blocked by Kevin or blocking Kevin themselves are still adding to the dog pile. So this artist right here says, since this is trending, I guess I should share my experience. We were mutuals and he blocked me just for commenting on his post where it was revealed.
Share my experience, as if they're sharing their experience about like a, you know, an interaction with the person in real life that was potentially, you know, serious, you know what I'm talking about. But it was just that they got blocked for making a statement as, oh my God, dude, did you see what he did to me?
So that he literally uses rigging templates. Please support riggers who actually rig from scratch. So this is a very odd thing. I've seen a lot of artists comment on this, and they say using templates like this is very common. In fact, it's working smarter, not harder. Like, this is not something that should be used to shame or criticize Kevin. It's a very unfair thing to do, and it's disingenuous. They're only doing this and trying to demonize it because it's Kevin, and they're trying to attack this guy for attention on Twitter. Here's another one where this person said, I kept seeing people blocked by him, so I jokingly checked to see if I was, and I guess I am. I haven't said anything about this creator like once from what I can remember, maybe a comment from legit.
To me, that's so weird again. Like, you've had no interaction with him, I guess, right? You've seen that he's blocking other people. Let's go check if I'm blocked. Okay, I guess there's some curiosity there. Okay, you're blocked. Why even mention it then? That's just weird, that is, to me.
Months ago, but nothing recent. He has to be looking up his own name and blocking everyone he sees. Not gonna lie, that's childish and cringe as hell. Not everyone's gonna like you, but...
Not gonna lie, like, looking to see if somebody's blocked chat and then parroting that when you find out that I have blocked chat, it's kind of cringe in itself, if you ask me.
He's free.
This whole situation is cringe, though, to be fair. Everybody involved in this is all cringe. I'm sorry, everybody, you know?
To block whoever he wants. I'm not upset since I never followed him. I just find it funny. Yeah, he's free to block whoever he wants, and I'm not upset, but I'm going to make a whole paragraph in a tweet about him blocking me. So people have freedom of association. They can block whoever they want on social media. If they don't want to talk to you, they don't have to talk to you, or they don't want to engage with your content or have you engage with their content, they're free to block you. That is freedom of association. But it's very odd that you're saying it's childish and cringe to block you while making a whole post talking about it. That is childish and cringe. But people would in the comments say, Kevin is nice, so I don't know. And the Vtuber responds saying, I don't think he is. He makes inappropriate assets and demonstrates them on an underage character. He practically scams his clients with his rigs. And I've seen him respond to criticism very negatively most of the time. So there's a lot to unpack in a very short statement. So number one, we know what the issue is, okay? It's not about any sort of criticism. It's about the fact that you don't like some of the fictional content he uses with his assets. And on top of that, you make a claim that he is scamming his...
I can understand that, like, you know, if there is these underage characters, you can't go to see this, talking about demonstrating them on underage characters, even though they're not real, it's still weird, that is. I think that is a bit weird, you know? Like I said again, though, I think a lot of people who kind of circle around this sort of stuff anyway and create this sort of art, it's like a lot of the furry stuff gets really weird sometimes, you know? There's a reason why a lot of people have got, like, negative connotations of furries. I'm sure there's loads of chill furries out there, of course there is, but there's a lot of, like, weirdos who circle around the drain in these spaces. So, like, that is a bit weird, but, like, it's separate from the rest of this stuff, I guess. But at the same time, I think that's something to be more annoyed about than he... But nobody seemed to care that he did that before he called a character a chubby fit character. What the fuck?
His clients
Selective outrage again.
That is very fair. And on top of that, you say he doesn't respond to criticism well. Well, you know what? If you were in his shoes, I think you wouldn't respond the best all the time, too. Because he has literally thousands of people trying to demonize and attack him for clout on Twitter. I doubt you would handle it very well, too. But this user would respond saying, honestly, he's been nothing but nice. Claiming he's a scammer, you have any evidence to back that up? Because I'd honestly like to see it. Where they write a whole bunch of word salad and at no point gives any evidence that he's a scammer.
Many people have said things about his rigs. Look at any of his rigs and you will find clipping issues because he just uses a rig template for all the models he rigs. That's why they all look the same, rigged, and have clipping issues every so often. It's not just a thing I'm saying out of my ass, and genuinely don't get where people have said he's been nice every time he's in some controversy, such as the Chubby Mitsuri model or the whistle asset he made. He doesn't apologise, picks fights with people, and just blocks people for rightfully calling him out. But have your opinion. I'm allowed to have mine too based on what I've seen with my own eyes. That's fair. You know, you can have your own opinion. The whole idea that that's a controversy though, calling the model a chubby fit model, is just wild to me.
Basically.
Well, it's not. I've been around the internet long enough now that, like I say, and Twitter's just full of fucking idiots and crazy people who don't talk enough to other human beings. But it's still kind of crazy.
They have a hunch that he is because they don't like him. Moving on, another person would try this tactic, saying since he's finally catching heat, I'll just drop this here. And it's the fact that Kevin is following this end wokeness account. So,
you know, some of these anti-woke groups and stuff, some of them are really cringe, but sometimes they post stuff that's funny. A lot of the time they post like troll content, you know. This idea that like, oh, because he's following that, oh, somehow, oh, you know, oh, we got him.
So they're literally follow policing him now. That's how low it is. Like, that is the lamest thing I've ever seen. A follow doesn't equal an endorsement, by the way, and it's a very, very cringe thing to do.
Right? I bet there's lots of people who follow political people online who totally the antithesis of their viewpoints, but they follow him to see what's coming out of their mouth, I guess, and sometimes they want to be able to reply to stuff or talk about stuff or see what's going on. But even if he is like, Christ, man.
Like, follow policing, that's super lame, and it's a very weird standard. It's basically saying, like, you vouch for everything that account says if you follow for them. It's a really weird standard to work with. But on top of that, we would see some people respond, and I think an actually productive way. So, a lot of people are talking about the definition of chubby, right? And what characters look like chubby, what makes a character chubby. It's obviously a subjective standard, but instead of attacking Kevin over his chubby fit post, this person leads by example, and they make their own interpretation of what they think a chubby / plus size model looks like, and they have it right here. However, even this would attract toxicity from people who are angry.
It is subjective, isn't it? It is totally subjective. Like, to me, I just think that's like a super curvaceous woman. Obviously, it's to the extremes because she's really got quite a small waist and super wide hips. Like, me, when I think of chubby, I think of somebody who's a little bit more less curvy, and it's just, you know, around the face and around the stomach area more than anything. That's what I see as chubby. I think, like, this is just like Amazonian almost, you know?
About Kevin, where this person would say, here, fixed it up for you. Here's some key things you got wrong. And they would literally do a, I fixed your art moment right here, where the artist would reply saying,
bro, oh my God.
look, man, while I very much appreciate your input, I didn't ask for you to directly fix my art. You could have just told me your input without
I gave no consent.
touching my drawing. Chubbiness have different sizes and body shapes to it. It's not a specific shape. I understand if you're not happy with my work, and I happily told people I'll do more body shapes for plus size models soon, but that doesn't give you the right to revise my work, which is a very...
I think the better terminology, I know this doesn't matter at all. None of this matters. None of it matters. But it's curvy. It's curvy, you know? It's curvy. Like, because that character looked aesthetically pleasing to the eye, I guess, especially to the male gaze. You know, wider hips, small waist, big boobs. That's just curvy. I think it's a little bit different from chubby, you know? And originally he called it chubby fit anyway, didn't he? But like I said again, I don't think anybody in this whole scenario comes out as not being cringe, man.
Very fair and appropriate response to what this user was doing, who would deflect all the criticism launched at them by saying, "Sorry, I have autism." Well, eventually Kevin would make a follow-up to all this stuff, explaining what's going on and why they're blocking certain people and what their thought process was with all these posts. So Kevin says this: different body standards exist. You are quickly projecting and forcing your own onto others. I struggle to gain weight and my art style leans towards skinny. I think chubby is super adorable and my ideal is obviously different from yours. We all have body problems in real life. I don't know you, I don't represent you, nor am I an authority or your therapist. Deal with it. Also, I blocked you because you use slurs, attack, harass, gossip, and accuse me of R-word and pedo. Your profile is filled with vile words, and you clearly don't enjoy my sense of humor. Here is your explanation. Go check the boxes yourself. To my soldiers, stay tuned for more epic content. You ain't seen nothing yet. What I'm about to do with this character. In fact, they would make another post after that jokingly saying, "Guys, what song is this, and why is what is she holding? Should I make a VTuber asset?" Obviously, poking fun at the controversy they got into a few months over that asset. But anyways, that's going to do it for this situation. Obviously, another round of unhinged users dogpiling on Kevin because they want clout. At the end of the day, like I said multiple times in this video, it's not about any sort of fair criticism. It's not about actually caring about these specific things. It's all about selective outrage. Again, I just don't think anybody in this video comes off that well, personally, to me. Everybody kind of just seems a little bit cringe, a little bit harassment and dogpiling for attention and clout on Twitter. And Kevin is just the latest target for people to do that towards. And again, if people would give this sort of energy that they gave Kevin's post about body shaming and all these issues to legitimate bad areas like on Twitter and TikTok, where eating disorders are glorified by people in big accounts, and there's just terrible body shaming, anorexia, like people literally starving themselves to death. There is a lot of really bad people in those spaces, and I wish they would direct their attention towards those legitimate bad actors instead of Kevin, who's just making a VTuber asset and model and using a term chubby fit that people are misinterpreting and chopping off at just chubby. But anyway,
that's wild that you have to clarify that as like, oh, people are misinterpreting it. He's just saying chubby, they're cutting off the fit, as if that makes it worse somehow, in my opinion. You know, like I said, I wouldn't have described it as chubby anyway because it was just curvy. Like, dude, everybody in this video to me is just kind of like, what the hell is this all about, man?
Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I'll put a link to Kevin's account in the description. Make sure to check it out. Check out his VTuber assets and his art as well. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed.
I lost brain cells watching that video. I'm not going to lie. Again, this is what I say. Twitter is just the place where the last brain cells go to fight each other to the death. Because I ain't got anything else to say on that, really. Nothing else.